I remember the launch of Ninjago in 2011. In fact, I was obsessed with it for a good number of years, but with time, that passion transitioned to Star Wars, Marvel and the like. But for its 15th anniversary, LEGO has now released the 71866, the Ninja character display, and today I want to show you why this is the perfect set for anyone that wants a memento from those early Ninjago days, but doesn't want to break the bank for it. Welcome to the Brick Collectibles Show. Leave your opinion on the 15th anniversary wave in the comments, and let's get into it. In 2012, LEGO introduced the first official season of Ninjago, titled Rise of the Snakes. While the original wave was only accompanied by a few short pilot episodes, this season had a full 13-episode run and also introduced the famous ZX suits. It is these very suits that LEGO has decided to celebrate with their 15th anniversary sets, in a way that even the Ninjago Legacy sets weren't able to do. As I mentioned, the Ninja character display was released on January 1st of this year, in tandem with a handful of other sets to celebrate Ninjago's birthday. Of those 4 sets so far, this one is by far the most affordable, going for $45, a price that seems almost too good when looking at the current price landscape of LEGO. Because when we actually calculate the price per piece ratio of the set, which isn't always a reliable metric by the way, and therefore take the 447 pieces into consideration, we get exactly 10 cents per piece, which is a good average. But obviously what really carries the set are the minifigs, of which you get 8 here, an insane number for any set that isn't a battle pack. They also mark the return of the ZX suits for the first time since 2012, as even the Legacy sets refused to accurately adapt them. Back then, Kai was probably the most popular of the original ninjas, which is why it is so beautiful to see a figure like this return in better quality after so long. For example, toe printing wasn't on anyone's mind back in 2012, and even more importantly, the golden accents have come a long way since then. Here it really pops out, especially on its chest armor, but of course they also upgraded the iconic mask. Back then, the prongs were a lot wider and not as long, especially not the ones on the side, which are actually long enough to connect to the headband at the back of the mask. But some things never changed, like for example the shoulder armor or his golden weapon, the Sword of the Fire, which still uses the same mold from 2011. Now, for Zane, LEGO has decided to lay greater worth on these smaller details. While Kai's golden markings were focal points of the minifig, they are much more subtle here, as you can see on the beige strip covering this entire figure. In my opinion, the biggest upgrade this figure has made though is the face. So after taking the mask off, which is the exact same one as Kai's, we get a face that is more reminiscent of the original design rather than the LEGO Ninjago movie one, and on the back you get a half robot face, an amazing feature. Kai and Zane are my 2 favorite ninjas, meaning I'm over the moon seeing they were done justice here with even the original shuriken of ice returning. We now get to the more controversial figures of the set, starting with Jay. Kicking it off with the good aspects. The printing has most definitely improved, and there are so many new small details, I don't even know whether the camera is picking them up, but for example, there's more lightning bolts all around. What I don't understand though is why the armor on his mask and shoulders is golden. For the original figure it was silver, making a lot more sense in tandem with its chest plate and arm, as they are silver. I really tried to rationalize it, I couldn't, but I genuinely enjoy the freckles on his face because they give him a bit more character even with the mask on. As the last member of the original 4, Cole got the same treatment as Jay, but I think it works better here. The gold and black works well together, and it's undeniable that the printing on his figure is immaculate, by far the best so far. I obviously still would have liked to see its original silver version, but there's something worse about this figure, the Scythe of Quakes. They haven't done a good iteration of this weapon ever. Really funny considering that they got the sword correct on the first try, but Cole lovers just keep on suffering. Now, I remember always wanting a green ninja minifig, so when my parents got me the epic dragon battle for Christmas in 2012, I was beyond excited. Lloyd's figure here is interesting, mixing his traditional and movie look. The green eyes weren't standard until 2017, and to be honest, I still don't know what to think of them. Just like with Cole and Jay though, they changed the armor. It wasn't silver before, like with the previously mentioned 2, but rather a gunmetal grey, which was a more unique design in my opinion. Nowadays, Lloyd is mostly associated with green and gold, so I understand the pivot, and thankfully they changed the grey highlights to gold to match the armor better, something they should have also done for Jay. In terms of printing, Nia, aka Samurai X, has definitely gotten the biggest upgrade. The leg and torso printing blows any previous ones out of the water, but I have a bigger complaint. The helmet is great, it makes the rest of the minifig look kinda ridiculous though, and the one-sided shoulder pad isn't enough to outweigh it. Older minifigs use the Kendo armor, and that worked perfectly with the helmet, but I have to say, I'm glad we got a Samurai X at all and not a Ninja Nia, since it just wouldn't make sense for a set like this, which is something Legacy got wrong too. There's a nod to that suit though, with the blue belt mimicking the color scheme of a later suit. The last regular minifig of the set is Sensei Wu. It's a good figure all in all, very accurately reiterating his classic look. His newer versions look a little crazier, but this does the job. I'd say the biggest step up is the toe printing, but out of all the original characters here, this minifig is definitely the most uneventful. Now, this figure also exists. It's apparently the previous Elemental Master of Lightning before Jay, and perhaps also his mother. Man, I don't know, I haven't watched Ninjago in almost a decade, but I guess it's a cool minifig. It is nowhere near the level of the ninjas, but for people that are really into Ninjago, I imagine they'll be rather happy about this. So while there are some odd decisions in regard to reiterating these figures after 14 years, I think LEGO did a really good job translating these designs into modern day. But the set is not called the character display for nothing. This is a beautiful build. It is absolutely not made for playing. This is a pure display set, I'd say even more so than the 2 Legend sets, of which I might review one this year as well. Where we can particularly see this is at the bottom of the set. There's this really quite beautiful border that surrounds the bit of greenery and gate, making it look pretty but also taking away the ability to combine this with any other set, as it would just look out of place. It is called the Ninja character display after all, which means all the ninja can go on here, though the character display part also encapsulates the 15th anniversary minifigs. There are these Technic pins on each side, meaning you can connect these 7 collectible figures to this build, but if you just buy the set, you actually can't connect the Master of Lightning to it. The pins on this display stand are on opposing sides to the main build, so you can't fit them together without any modification, which is very weird if you ask me. On the other hand, every original figure has a place here, regardless of whether those vary from box art to instructions. There are these little action pins sprinkled throughout the set, and attaching them thankfully isn't a major pain in the ass. As you can see, it does look really cool, even if Cole's position, the only one that stays consistent between the instructions and the box art, sucks. There are some ingenious techniques used in the build, which beautifully underline the focal points of the set, obviously being the ninja. It's fairly easy covering this entire set quickly, but I want to show you one last aspect, the little room on the back. The T setup is cute and all, the most interesting part are the 2 stickers though, which cover the back wall. Depicted here are Wu and Garmadon, battling it out before even the pilot season, and I just think that it is such a sick inclusion. In conclusion, this is a almost flawless display set. I documented my issues with some of the figures, but because of them, this is also a great set for a younger demographic. At $45, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to receive the entire main cast of the original show with a beautiful build to display them all. Additionally, if you're a hardcore Ninjago fan, you get to add all the other 15th anniversary minifigures, and if you're returning to the theme like I did, this is a wonderful point of re-entry. My personal favorite part of Ninjago though wasn't Rise of the Snakes, but rather the Stone Samurai saga, which is why I now recommend you check out my video on that as well. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, goodbye.